When I started the process, I was not aware of anything. I had left my job for this, very scared of this paper. I had not prepared anything before prelims for essay. Giving 2, 3, 4 years does not matter if you have the right amount of determination. I completely followed what the previous toppers had suggested. Practice more, use content in an innovative manner, focus on revision.
Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. Final results for Civil Services Examination 2021, commonly known as IAS examination, have been declared. Total 685 students have been selected out of lakhs and lakhs of students who appear for this examination. So that way this examination, the process itself becomes very demanding, challenging, tough, full of competition, exhausting. What are the nuances of this examination? What it takes to crack this, the most prestigious examination of our country? What should be the holistic perspective if a student wants to prepare for this examination? To have a very comprehensive discussion, all-encompassing discussion on various topics, various issues related to IAS examination. Today we are joined by the topper of this examination, Shruti Raj Lakshmi. She scored fairly well and obtained 25th rank, All India rank 25. So, welcome Shruti.
Thank you,
and
sir.
First of all, congratulations on behalf of BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS.
Thank you very much, sir.
And making all of us very proud.
Thank you.
Your life must have changed.
Yeah.
Great. Shruti, this was your second attempt.
Yes, sir.
The students, they appear for third, fourth, fifth attempt also. Is it worth giving 3 years, 2 years, 4 years of one's youth for the preparation of this examination? And second query is, I'm asking this question from the perspective of a layman student, a student who is just planning to prepare. And second query is, what kept you going?
So, sir, giving 2 years or 3 years or 4 years depends upon the motivation that you have. So if you have decided that you want to appear for the civil services exam because you want to contribute something to the society, I think giving 2, 3, 4 years does not matter if you have the right amount of determination. If I hadn't qualified in this attempt, I would have definitely sat for another attempt because I did want to come to this platform to serve the society. So I would have tried again. So, sir, what kept me going was basically the motivation that I had. So I had left my job for this. I had, since I did not, I left all my financial security for this. I was dependent on my parents for this entire duration. So I did have to prove something. So I also wanted to contribute to the society. That is why I had left my job initially. So all these factors kept me going during the preparation.
So these factors, they kept your motivation level quite high.
Yes, sir.
Now, Shruti, related to this first query only, students, they start with great degree of enthusiasm, with good determination. I have to crack this. I will. Sir, tell me the way out. I want to be the topper, etc., etc.
Yes, sir.
But after a few months, they start, you can say, burning out their energy. They feel exhausted. How to keep oneself motivated? Because as people say, it is not a sprint, it is a marathon. You need to have some good degree of perseverance. How to keep oneself motivated for this examination?
So this happened with me also. Initially, I was full with a lot of determination and I was very much enthusiastic about the process. But a phase comes when we are reading the same things again and again. So we feel that this is Or sometimes what happens is that we get some mock test results and we feel that whatever efforts we are putting in, it's not coming out on the test paper or any kind of test that we are writing. So in that case, I used to think that anyways, I have changed a lot from the starting. When I started the process, I was not aware of anything until, so now I have gained some amount of knowledge from before, and if I continue doing that, I'll probably gain some more amount of knowledge and I'll be a changed person. So I used to focus on that. And secondly, sir, my parents used to be a constant source of motivation for me. So whenever I used to feel exhausted, I would just go and talk to them, or whenever I had any kind of problem that I'm not able to finish something, we would just have a chat or about it, and we will probably reach some kind of solution, and it would be a great way for me to vent out my feelings and to them. So that also proved to be a good source of motivation, sir.
Good. So you kept talking with your parents and they kept you motivated.
Yes, sir.
Great. Shruti, you are a topper, but the students, they are unable to clear even prelims also. And when I ask the students, they say it's highly unpredictable. How did you tackle the unpredictability part of preliminary examination and how to make it predictable?
So sir, in my first attempt in 2019, when I had not actually prepared seriously, I failed prelims. So even though I was not prepared that time, it kind of, I did become scared of prelims. So I did not want to fail prelims again. So that is why I skipped my 2020 attempt and kind of prepared sincerely for this one. So, but the fear was still there, because even in the mock tests, sometimes I did not perform that well. So what I did was that since yes, that's actually true that prelims is becoming a bit unpredictable, but if you pick up the past few year question papers and if you try to solve them, you analyze each and every options that comes in that in those test papers, that helps you analyze what kind of questions UPSC is asking, what are the themes that UPSC is asking about, and that proved to be beneficial for me. And apart from that, sir, I also practiced all the mock test papers which are available with various coachings. I took mock tests for I think 2-3 reputed coachings, and I think 1.5 months before prelims, I used to solve one test paper every day and used to analyze my mistakes and make notes accordingly. So whatever marks that I got in those mock tests, they gradually improved. So I felt that probably I might crack prelims this time. So yeah, this is what I did, sir.
So you did lots of, you can say, answer writing practice and previous year's question paper, analyzing your weaknesses.
Yes, sir.
And do not get deviated.
Yeah.
Now after prelims, Shruti, there is mains examination.
Yes, sir.
Which is totally dependent on your answer writing skills. Not only answer writing skills, speed of writing as well.
Yes, sir.
How to sharpen one's answer writing skills and how to get that speed, what is expected in UPSC mains?
So initially we should focus on content building, because that is more important. So what I did was, even before prelims, I think I did this for 3 months, I used to write 2 questions from the free daily initiatives of there are many daily initiatives where they put up some questions, and I used to choose them according to my discretion, what I felt is relevant for UPSC, and accordingly I wrote I actually used to prepare those answers and then practice it within a time limit. So this helped me in a lot of content building for the final exam. And so I had already prepared my notes before prelims for the static part. So what I did between prelims and mains was that I focused more on revision and also practicing answer writing. So a lot of people don't like to write so many of tests, but I used to write like 2 tests in a single day to also work on my speed, and while also to test my innovation, because answer writing also requires a lot of innovation. So what you read, it's not necessary that when you read a topic under a particular subheading, you are just going to write it under, you are going to use it there only. There are a lot of questions where you can use that content. So when you go and write those mock tests, it helps you innovate, it helps you in innovation, it helps you in innovating in those answers. And secondly, sir, I focused on whatever feedback that I used to receive, and that used to be mostly on diversifying my points, not focusing on a single aspect but the multiple aspects of the question that's asked, and maximizing the number of points relevant to the question. And gradually my speed, I was very slow in the initial period, but gradually my speed also improved because I wrote many tests. So this is what I did.
Keep writing,
yeah.
Then only you can actually get mastery.
Give equal importance to both revision and writing. Don't ignore either of them. Yeah.
Right. And in mains, there is one paper essay.
Yes, sir.
And you have scored very good marks, 140. What it takes to write an extraordinary essay?
Sir, so I was very scared of this paper. I had not prepared anything before prelims for essay. So I think the initial essays that I wrote were more or less based on the strategies that previous toppers had suggested. There's a commonly known format called the social, political, economic format, which people tend to follow. But I also somehow used to feel that this does not fit very well in all the philosophical essays, and this time all essays were philosophical in nature. And I think in the second essay that I wrote, I got a feedback that writing in the social, political, economic dimension makes your essay kind of an example-based essay, but essays should be about your own ideas. They should be about your own arguments. So I reoriented my entire writing style to present what I think about the topic, rather than going for some traditional formats which are followed by rest. And I think this helped me differentiate my essay from the rest.
Right.
So in the philosophical essays which came this time, I used to write the ethical dimensions of the topics which are asked and relate them with some daily life examples. And this, I think, helped me in getting a good marks in essay. Yeah.
Anthropology was your optional.
Yes, sir.
And it is very popular also.
Yes, sir.
How to select an optional, and how did you choose this anthropology out of, say, 48 optionals?
Yes, sir. So initially, when I started thinking about appearing for the examination, right, in 2019, so I heard about this subject, that there were multiple resources available for this subject, and people had done really well with the subject. So I was very curious about it, and definitely I had never heard the name of this subject before, because I had an engineering background, so I did not have adequate knowledge. So I was also curious that what is this subject about. So I started reading about it. I started reading about I started reading the resources which were available in the market. And I found it very interesting because it covers multiple dimensions of man. So you don't get bored. You get to know about the biology of man, the paleontology of man, the history of man, even some form of geography also, about the social aspects of man. So it was a very interesting subject. And when I started reading it initially, I was very comfortable with the subject. So I thought that I'll probably stick with this subject. So that is how I chose.
Great. And from a upcoming student's perspective, what yardstick they should apply? So you should definitely see your interest in that subject. So if I would say that since my background was in computer science and engineering, I did not have that as a choice in the optional. So probably if you have the optional as your choice, in which you have had a background, I would prefer that kind of subject because you are comfortable with it. You have done your graduation in it. But if you are not wanting to take your graduation subject, or if you don't have your graduation subject in the list, in that case, I would say that look for what kind of will you be able to sustain with that subject for a long time. If you just buy the resources and give a cursory reading through them, so you will know that you will have interest or not. And thirdly, you should also see that adequate resources are available for that subject, because that is also important. If you don't know where to study from, it becomes a bit tedious. Yeah. Now, prelims you discussed, mains you discussed. There is one tricky area of personality test, because there is one column called hobby, extracurricular activities, and students are having lots of myths. Every type of suggestion they get. This kind of question is asked in UPSC interview and etc. etc. How to cultivate and nurture that hobby and extracurricular activity, and how a student should make sure that, or from when they should start working on their hobbies?
Sir, hobby is something, what I feel is that you've been doing it for a long time. You don't need to make a hobby for civil service and start doing it for the past few years. I mean, definitely somebody has some form of stress buster or some kind of exercise that they do on a daily basis or a weekly basis, which is your hobby. That is what a hobby should be. So, and secondly, I would say that please don't, just for the sake of writing the hobbies, don't write 2-3 hobbies if you're not comfortable with them. I think with the preparation also, an average person won't be able to manage more than 1 or 2 hobbies. So I just wrote 1 hobby in my personality, in my DAF, because I felt that I was comfortable with that hobby because I do like doing it. So I think that's how a hobby should be chosen.
Means whatever they write, they should mean it.
Yeah.
They must be doing it for the last, say, few years.
Yeah. I think everyone has some kind of hobby.
Hobby, right.
Yeah.
Now, Shruti, there is a common thought that you need to study for 20 hours a day. Did you also study for 22 hours a day? How many hours? Because lots of questions we get from students to be an IAS, how many hours do I need to study? What is your take on that and how did you follow it?
So I think 20 hours is a lot of, it's a very far-fetched number because you won't have anything else to do apart from studying. So that's not practically possible. So I never counted the number of hours that I put in. But I had some time slots divided for specific things, that when I used to wake up, I'll read the newspaper in 40 minutes. Then I'll do my daily regime and then probably have breakfast and then do a 3-hour study of some subject. Then again, in the afternoon, I'll have a 3-hour session. So I was also not able to, I had made up a plan, but I was not able to follow them diligently. But I ensured that whenever I was studying with full focus and full concentration. My mind, I was also amazed by the kind of discipline that I showed that time, because I don't think I had this before. I didn't have this in me before preparation. So I was very dedicated during those 2 or 3 hours that I was putting in, and definitely I had breaks in between. In the breaks, I would go and play something or do some form of exercise or just go and talk to my parents. But on an average, I think I did manage 7 to 8 hours every day. Yeah.
So not 20 hours.
No.
That's
not possible.
That is a great, help to the students.
20 hours will not leave you anything. I mean, it's not possible for anyone.
And now, Shruti, there is one thing also related to social media.
Yeah.
I have to uninstall all the apps. And if someone sees you, you can say you have those apps in your mobile, they will immediately give judgment. You are not fit for this exam. So what is your position on that? Do I need to be anti-social for that, or how to deal with this social media thing?
So a lot of content on social media is addictive sometimes. So if you are very disciplined, you are sure that you are not going to waste your time, you can allocate 5 to 10 minutes on it. Since I was not very interested, I just uninstalled everything. I think I did not even use YouTube. WhatsApp and all this, though I had uninstalled a long time before. So YouTube, I felt, is kind of an addiction. So just to stay away from that, I had stopped watching YouTube's videos also. So I was completely off social media. But if somebody feels that they need to have an outlet, needs to have some kind of pastime, so they can have social media.
So there is it differs from person to person.
Yeah.
Right? But you deleted everything.
Yeah, I deleted everything because I did not have very much interest. Yeah.
Now, with regards to newspapers, how many newspapers one should study? And do we need to prepare notes also?
Sir, I only followed one newspaper. I think during the interview preparation, I've started following 2 newspapers. But before that, I used to follow one paper only. And So newspaper notes, I used to collect some case studies and some form of our data committee points or something like editorials were there. So editorials had a lot of interesting case studies, reports. So I used to collect these to substantiate my points. So whatever I wrote in mains, I had to substantiate with some data. So I used to collect them from there. And there were some pages like explained kind of pages, which used to kind of explain a topic in depth. So there I used to make notes, but not of everything that is there in the paper. I think I hardly needed around 30-40 minutes to browse through the paper. So I just had I think I had a selected approach to making notes out of the paper. Focus on any case studies, any data, whatever you can glean out of it, or just focus on the explained sections and the editorials. Yeah.
So you focused on explained section and editorial, and if you get any unique data, anything, then you need to write.
Yes.
Great. Now Shruti, we are facing a problem of plenty. Lots of information we have, lots of platforms we have. And in UPSC preparation, it is usually said that what is to be studied is less important than what is not to be studied. How did you actually got to know what is to be studied? And how did you stop yourself from getting deviated?
So sir, I completely followed what the previous toppers had suggested. So if we look across their strategies, we find a common set of books. So common set of resources, that is what I followed for my entire preparation. And yeah, there are times when we feel that, especially when we have the mock tests, we feel that this we have not covered and this was not covered in this resource, or we should study some other books also for that purpose. But please don't get deviated by this. In fact, that mock test is supposed to act as a filler in your preparation. Just take that data and make notes out of it. And unnecessary running behind resources kind of compromises on revision. You will not be able to retain anything what you study after some days. So it's better to focus on the limited number of books that previous toppers have suggested and revise that data, and you can have some specific value addition. For example, when you're going through your content, you find, we are studying something about NGOs or civil society organizations, you feel that you don't have the relevant data to substantiate a point for mains answer writing. You just go and Google that data, you'll get it easily, and it hardly takes 5 or 6 minutes. So value addition you can do, but specific to the whatever you have notes prepared. So when you go to through the notes, you'll get to know that what is missing. Yeah.
Okay. So you followed a very normal formal format and you stick to it.
Yeah.
Good. Now Shruti, current affairs is an area which is very challenging, ever evolving, ever daunting, so difficult, like an ocean. How did you manage this?
So for mains purpose, I actually so I used Evernote. So that's an application. So what I did was I made the main syllabus, the specific terms in the main syllabus as the topics for my particular note. So those used to serve as my subheadings. And whenever I used to get a relevant content either in the newspaper or in the current affair booklets that I followed, I would just put it there. So this was more organized and it helped me in collecting the relevant content only. So this helped me in the mains examination, but prelims is like a vast ocean where you have to search for every other information. So here what I tried to do, again I tried to categorize things. So like I had subheadings of important reports, important animals which are in news, important defense procurements, defense exercises. So this to some extent helped me categorize my preparation. So it also ensured that I did not fill the same data again and again if I had the relevant content for it. And this also helped me in handy revision. So categorizing was the key to current affairs. Yeah.
And you made different groups and then you followed that.
Yeah.
Shruti, what is the right phase to start for this exam? After graduation, do I need to go for post-graduation degree, or I can start from first year, second year itself? What is the right time as per you?
I think the right time is when you have the motivation to, when you feel that you can give 70-80% of your time for preparation. So some people start in college itself, some people, I started after college mostly. So it does not depend on when you start, but whenever you start, you should dedicate your entire time and your entire will to this preparation. That depends a lot. When you are completely motivated, you'll probably perform well. So that matters more.
Right. So phase timing is not important. Important is your commitment that you will be able to give your 100%.
Yeah.
Great. Now, I was going for this, going after the marks and scorecard of toppers. I found that paper 3 of general studies has been a challenging part even for toppers also. What all mistakes do I need to avoid if I am a common student and tomorrow is my, or suppose after 2 months I have my GS paper 3, what would be your suggestion?
GS3 requires a lot of, the problem is that it has multiple subjects in a single paper.
Right.
You have economics, you have environment, you have science and technology, you have internal security. So that becomes a bit tedious. So what I did was I had some basic notes base notes for all these topics, and on top of it I focused on value addition. So a lot of times we see that there's a lot of factual content which is appearing in the mains paper, especially in the 10 markers. So probably it becomes difficult to retain like some specific points, like we had the S400 question this time. But I think that is applicable to everyone. So you should focus more on note making here only, and answer writing, because answer writing helps you retain that content for a longer time, and revision is key in GS3. Yeah.
Good. So when I look at the entire syllabus of GS, there are so many papers, so many subjects, smaller subjects, larger subjects. How to revise? What is the best way? How did you revise? Because it must be so many copies, there must be so many copies and notebooks. And time is obviously limited.
So I focused again on the main syllabus for this.
Okay.
Like I used to pick up the GS1 syllabus, the first part, whatever notes I had for that, I used to revise that. The same thing happened for GS2, GS3. So it helps you prepare in an orderly manner. You already, the main syllabus is quite exhaustive. So you already have the set of keywords and relevant terms for revision. So I focused on the main syllabus and revised accordingly.
Great. Now Shruti, you are top ranker. Lots of students are watching this conversation. What is your message to them? If you need to mentor them, what message would you like to give to aspirants who are preparing or who are planning to prepare? What are the most important do's and don'ts?
The first thing I would say that, especially for those who are planning to prepare for this paper, please have the right kind of motivation. When you are starting out, we are generally very enthusiastic about the preparation, but a certain phase comes when things might seem to be a bit boring, or things might not be working out according to our plans and according to our timetable, whatever we had decided. So please don't get bogged down by it. Continue to persist in this, because this exam majorly tests your persistence, how much you can continue to work despite all the problems. So I would say that please be ready for as sir said in the beginning, marathon. And secondly, I would say that especially for those who are preparing or who are already in this cycle, that focus on answer writing. Often we tend to avoid answer writing because we feel that we haven't completed our syllabus. A lot of things need to be revised, and probably writing an answer won't help much if I don't know anything. That's not the case. Writing more number of tests helps you a lot in innovating your content. Whatever you have, if you've prepared sufficiently for a year, you have enough content to write an answer. You just need to practice more, use content in an innovative manner. So please focus on answer writing, and same would apply for the prelims also. Please focus on solving the tests, whatever you have. and focus on revision. Revision is very important, and don't run behind unnecessary resources just because you will not be able to remember anything on the final day anyways. So just be limited in your resources. Yeah.
Thank you, Shruti. Thank you so very much for joining us at BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS platform. And on behalf of BYJU'S Exam Prep, I wish you all the best for your glorious and illustrious career ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you. So it was our conversation with AIR 25, Shruti Raj Lakshmi. And she discussed various aspects related to this examination. It is marathon. She discussed about the strategy for prelims exam, strategy for mains answer writing, how to make your answers innovative. She also discussed about hobbies, number of hours that you need to give, what should be your stand on social media platforms, how to select an optional. So we discussed various subjects, various topics. These are those topics which frequently come to your mind. And hopefully this conversation will help you resolving those doubts and put some kind of vigor inside you to get you more excited and enthusiastic. Thank you so very much